Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Literally Wasted. This is the last Wednesday of the month. It is time to discuss the first half of the Lies of Locke Lamora. And as you can see, Adam and Christy are here. But we have two special guest hosts today. We have Dan and Brandy.
Yay! Thank you guys for joining us.
Hello.
Hi.
Lucas and Talia were unable to join us. They have a lot of life stuff going on. So, life happens. It's okay. It's all good. They're still around. And they'll be here. But for now, we get Dan and Brandy, special guest hosting with us. To talk. Rachel says, Lucas,
Thanks for having us.
A lot different today. But thank you for being here. So we get to discuss the first half of the Lies of Locke Lamora up to
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7, which is called Something Out the Window or something.
Something.
Talia's not here to do the name song.
So
should I do it? Do you want me to?
Adam should do it.
You don't want
Adam
me
do
to
it.
Adam's gonna attempt it.
We'll make it quick. Hi, Giggles and Tammy and Christopher and Randa and Giggles and Mike and Christopher. Oh, this is hard, Talia. How do you do this every time? And Randa and Kelly and Kristen and Rachel and Kelly and Katie and Mary and hi, Brandy and Stacy and Tim and Willa and Judy and Kristen and Brenda. Hi, Kira and Kelly and Kent and Natalie and Randa and Alex and Jennifer and Rachel and Stacy and Jay and Mike and Kelly and Giggles and Kent and Randa and Willa. These are all the same people that I read before. Yay!
Yay!
Talia, I'm so sorry I butchered it. This is why you're the singer person.
She has been
Jeff,
validated.
Yes.
got you in there. Snuck you in there, Jeff. Okay. So I guess we should dive right in and start talking about the Lies of Locke Lamora, the first half. No spoilers. There's you in the comment sections. No spoilers past that point.
I guess some of y'all have read it before. Some of y'all went ahead and finished it. Some of you
that's good.
Aren't right there yet. So we're gonna do a little recap so you know where to not talk past.
Yes, Christy, make it happen.
So if you haven't gotten to the stopping point, might be a little spoilers, but you know why you're here. So we got two timelines in the past. Locke tells Father Chains why the thief maker sold him. Locke, Kahlo, and Galdo acquire a fresh corpse as a test, and the Sansa twins start relying on Locke. John Tannen joins the group and starts taking fighting lessons. In the present, the Don Salvara Con is going on. Locke is masquerading as Lucas Fairwright, and him and Jean are swindling Don Salvara out of over half his fortune with an Austrashalan wine con, with the added twist that he let them know he was swindling them.
Yes.
The Grey King is murdering baristas, of which Locke he's a barista, but he's not a murder barista. And Kappa Barsavi is going mad about it. Kappa Barsavi decides Locke will marry his daughter Nazca. The Grey King wants Locke to impersonate him in a meeting with Barsavi, and Barsavi wants Locke to join him at the same meeting, so that's trouble. The Grey King kills Nazca, and he has a bondsmage, which is the Falconer, who's scary.
The scary guy.
Also, Locke is the Thorn of Camor.
There you go. That's the recap. That's what we're reading up to. Here's my question for Dan and Brandy. Is this your first time reading this book?
Yes.
Yeah, I read about 100 pages shortly after joining this club. The funny thing was, it was me and a few others from this club who decided to do kind of a buddy read on it, but it fizzled out and everyone just stopped participating. So that was in 2019. I read about 100 pages and it wasn't doing it for me. So I'm enjoying it much more this time.
Oh, good.
Hey, all right. Second time's a charm. And Brandy, this is your first time. So what
First
do you think?
time.
What do you think so
Never
far?
heard of
We'll
it.
just start with that.
It was a kind of an uphill climb at first, and then once I got to a certain point, it was like, I got to know more.
Yeah, this is my first time reading it. And since I've been with Christy, this is literally all she's ever talked about.
It's the only book I've ever mentioned.
Like it's every conversation we ever have about anything ever. It's a wonder we even get things done is because all she does is talk about this book. And
It's like it's Ghostbusters on your side, or
right?
Trek.
I know. So you know what it's like. And but I really like this. So I'm like really liking this book so far. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's really well written. I think that the characters are very interestingly written and developed, and I just to make a long story short, I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm into it. Christy, what do you think? second time?
So I read this 4 or 5 years ago or so, and I loved it. So rereading it, I'm actually surprised how much I just don't remember from it, but I'm really enjoying it the second time around. It's just as enjoyable.
Benny, are you enjoying it? Clearly he's really enjoying it. And Dan, you tried reading it, didn't do it for you. What about it this time is doing it for you?
Yeah. I like it more. I don't know what I was expecting the first time. It was like I was away from when I was a kid, all I read was fantasy, right? And then mid high school or so, I kind of got away from fantasy. And then I discovered Neil Gaiman, like after I was married, full adult. And I was like, oh, what else of great things have been going on in fantasy that I've been missing out on? So when you search, best modern fantasy novels, this ends up on like every list, no matter where you're looking on your Google search. This book is always there. So yeah, I don't know why it didn't grab me. I think I said this on Facebook or in Discord or something, that I was really thrown both times by a fantasy world where everyone's Italian. It's just, I don't know. It's bizarre to me because it's just so specific. We're so used to that British generic fantasy world feel, but have all these Italian names. I think that just rattled me for some reason. That sounds like a really weird reason to not like a book, but the immersion kept breaking for me, I think, the first time because of that. No, Natalie. But I was hoping you wouldn't give that away to everyone.
What is that? Yeah, I think that's I didn't even think about it. Did you, Benny? I didn't think about it being like everybody's Italian in this random fantasy world.
I never even thought about it.
Until you pointed it out. Now I'm not gonna be able to look away from
right.
It. I'm just gonna be
well, someone I mean, shout yourself out if you're here. I don't remember who it was, said that they just think of it as kind of like a fantastical version of Venice. Picturing like Little Italy and guys, like The Sopranos and ordering pizzas and stuff. Once I got that in my head, I was okay. I could see that. There's a little kind of magical vibe there, so that helped.
I did think Venice a little bit when I was thinking about like how this city was structured and how everything is sort of built on waterways and stuff. And what about the world itself? It's that to me is like
the elder glass stuff.
The most fascinating sort of understated aspect of this, in that you have this. They're apparently on this place that aliens have been, or something like they have all this elder glass that came from who knows where.
Well before the humans established any sort of anything there.
And you have there's magic, kind of. There's magic in there, and there's this sort of mystical elder glass, and I think it's just really fascinating. And it's like I'm looking forward to peeling away the onion layers there.
Well, that like elder glass garden at the end.
Oh yes,
yeah,
that was crazy.
Soaks up the blood. That was super cool.
That was so hard for me to visualize, but it was really cool. Like reading about that and just like picturing this little boy trying to walk through these roses. Not a small boy either, right? As they described him.
Mike loved this line you loved.
Oh yeah.
It reminds them.
Oh, so there was like this. It was a chapter within.
It was Locke and Chains talking.
Yeah, it was like a flashback to Locke and Chains, and Chains was talking about the bonds mage and how you never insult a bonds mage, and you never speak ill to a bonds mage. And then the next, right after the first line, it's nice bird, a-hole.
Yeah,
it was like that. It made me laugh too. It got a solid like guffaw out of me.
We talked about this earlier today.
We're getting a lot of comments about the Oliver Twist vibes, which for sure.
Oh
yeah.
I like it more than Oliver Twist. I love Dickens, but I really didn't like Oliver Twist. I like this more than Oliver Twist.
I've never read Oliver Twist.
I haven't either.
You're fine.
You're basically reading it now.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Whoa. Maybe I should read Oliver Twist.
Wow. It's got Locke Lamora in it.
Yeah.
Just watch Oliver. The musical.
There's no magic.
So everybody's wondering where Talia is. She and Lucas had a lot going on, a lot on their plate. So we're giving them some time to focus on that.
And they didn't want spoilers.
They didn't want spoilers, so
We're like the Wish version.
exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I told Adam I was properly prepped to, at some point this hour, say Locke Lamora isn't as good as Wool.
Is Lucas here?
That's my effort. I've been Lucas for tonight.
So we kind of have two stories going on. We've got like the past and the present, and
So the past is so interesting to me because when they find Locke, or when Locke enters the story, he's like 5-ish, or he's small for his age, so maybe he's a little bit older. We don't actually know, but he is already a weird, kind of frightening child.
like right away.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like the kid who steals too much.
Well, because he stole from the Yellow Jackets, like before he even got to
The thief maker.
the Thief Maker. Yeah.
And the Yellow Jackets, they're like the police, right?
Yeah.
They're
I
kind
think
of
so,
like
yeah.
the police.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Locke was introduced as like this boy who had like to somebody called the Thief Maker, was like, this guy steals too much. To get rid of him. And then we get introduced to him through this con that they're running. What's that, Benny? Yeah, no, I was gonna say that.
We really tried. He's not cooperating.
He's not cooperating. So I don't know how annoying that is to hear, Benny.
Probably pretty annoying. I'll take it.
How annoying is that?
I'm used to it.
It's seriously like it's part of the scenery.
Yeah.
We won't speak for the whole chat, but
Christy's
I
gonna.
work at a daycare.
Oh, there we go.
but he
He's a-
disagrees.
He's in full cry.
Beautiful.
1 second while Christy steps away. Talk amongst yourselves. She'll be back. Bye, Benny. Have a good time.
Oh,
Okay. And then there were 3. But so we were introduced to the present with its Don Salvara
Salvara.
to this
think
con
so,
that he's
yeah.
running, which I think was just, I mean, like we've kind of read some heist stuff before in this book club. I think like Six of Crows was kind of heisty and stuff like that. But like this was just kept surprising me. I don't know if y'all had the same.
That was
experience.
absolutely the intent, I'm sure, because it's like, okay, I understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, I understand what's happening now. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
It was like a constant thing. Like,
Yeah,
wait a
really,
second.
through the whole first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so impressed as it kept happening. Like I thought that I knew what was going on, and then I didn't. And I think the part that really got me was when the midnighter or whatever showed up to the Don's room and was like, yeah, the Thorn of Camor is he's not real. And then you find out that it's Locke, and you're like,
I know.
and you
Did
find out
anyone? I mean, I had it figured out during that scene, though. Did
I
didn't.
thought maybe.
I'm
I thought
curious
maybe.
how many people did.
I didn't have it figured out because I was just going along with it. But I also said to Christy when I was reading, I was like, I'm actually surprised that's not one of them.
Mhm.
And then I got there and I was like, oh, it was Locke.
So you kind of did have it figured out.
I kind of
Yeah.
did.
Give
But,
yourself a little credit.
But then you find out that he was like kicked in the balls the whole time. It's like he was like
Mhm.
working through that pain the whole time. Well, it's just like getting those layers of like, oh, it's Locke, and then you get like the backstory behind that. I was just like, this is just so much fun.
Yeah.
And can we? Yeah, we should address the stilettos because I clearly also thought they were high heeled shoes.
Yes.
Like the guys had
Yeah.
his stilettos hanging from the.
There's
Apparently they're
one
not.
definition for that word.
Yeah, learn things.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's doing the con, and it's just. I find every time I went to the past, I felt myself a little bit disappointed because I wanted to know more about what was happening with the con. But once
So
I
it's
got,
kind of the opposite.
oh really?
Yeah.
You like the
I
past
was like, now I want to know how he got to where he is.
I am both ways. Like anytime, this is another thing I feel like in recent years, the whole flashbacks in books and TV shows has been a little overdone. There are a lot of TV shows that feel like we have to have flashbacks. We have to tell the backstory in every episode. And so there's part of that, but it's more just I'm in a groove and then you take me out of it. But it's really no different than a book that's, multiple points of view or going to different characters in different places. And in those sometimes you're disappointed. I don't want to leave this character. But I'm enjoying both threads, both story arcs.
Yeah, it didn't seem as jarring because it was kind of the same characters.
Yeah.
And they weave it together. Like what you're getting in one part is relevant to what you're getting in the next or the previous part.
Exactly.
And I like the flashbacks too. Every time I got to the end of a occurrence, I was like, man, I just want to keep going. And then the flashbacks would happen, and I would be like, okay, I like this too.
Yeah.
You're right, Brandy. I think it's fun to see the origin.
Yeah.
The origin story and especially as they start introducing more of the characters, like Gene, right? That's how you say it.
I think so. Yeah.
Christy said Jean.
John,
but
I guess
which I would have thought, except the fact that everyone else is Italian. So why do you have a French guy in there?
Yeah, she's going the Les Mis route there.
Yeah.
Anyone who's doing audio can pipe in and tell us what it says.
There she is. Here he comes.
No.
Christy, we were discussing whether it's Jean versus Jean.
I think it's John in the audiobook.
Oh, she says it's Jean in the audiobook. I lose.
Well, I might be wrong, even though I've been reading the ebook this time.
So how do you say it in your head? Jean?
I've been saying it Jean, but
That's how I say it.
and I don't think it matters.
So to catch you up, we were talking about like the flashbacks versus the current story. And I started by saying that I thought every time we got to a flashback, I was kind of disappointed that we weren't continuing the story. Brandy said the opposite. Do you have what are your feelings?
I love them both. And
That's what Dan said.
I almost feel like at the end of a flashback, I'm like, no, give me more. And then at the end of a present, I'm like, no, don't stop. So
that's me. Yeah. The shift bugs me, but once I'm a page into it, I'm okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda.
So you got
that's so I want to know why there's one French kid in the middle of an Italian city. I'm really fascinated with this.
And so we've gotten pretty much everybody's backstories kind of, except for the twins. They were just always there. And then we don't know about
from the Thief Maker as well.
Yeah, and we don't know about Bug. We don't really know anything about Bug. So I'm guessing we'll find out a little bit about him. But the flashbacks are so cool because you do get to see kind of how these people were made and like the philosophy behind training them. I guess we can talk a little bit about like Chains.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the Thief Maker. Chains, yeah. What were you
I love Chains.
He's cool.
I love him.
So he's the Fagin for those who know Oliver Twist.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty cool.
And Chains,
oh my god, Mike says that he can't stop picturing him being skinny and bearded, and I'm the same.
Same. It's something about the name Chains. I don't know if it evokes. I mean, while on Dickens, Jacob Marley type vibes. I don't picture a fat guy. Even
I don't
how
either.
many times he says it.
I do. I absolutely do.
Okay.
I can't do it.
And I don't know why. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I can't picture a fat guy, but Chains is so interesting because like he has so much knowledge. Like he has the ability to teach these kids all of these things.
Like what Christopher Moore said.
Think of him as a Friar Tuck. Okay. But what's interesting is that and this is what I think every time we have a Chains lesson story is like he has the ability to teach these kids all of these skills and all of these things. There's between like, I guess handling themselves,
any social
fighting.
level.
Yeah, all these social levels, these languages. Like, what is his story? That's what.
Well, but also they said that like what him and Kappa
Yeah,
Barsavi were buddies or something, or like not buddies, but they came into power at the same time. And so obviously there's a backstory there that's probably awesome.
Yeah, I think they were like college buddies or something like that.
I think
basically
maybe they both came to Kimura at the same time and they were both able to establish themselves and they were in each other's spheres, but I didn't get the impression they were like friends, but I think that they had a lot of like, there was some stuff between them.
So Dan, Natalie is saying that the thief maker is more Fagin because she likes chains too much to be Fagin.
See, yeah, I don't know. Natalie's read Oliver Twist more recently than I have, so we'll yield to her. I'm bummed that Chains is dead. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I only get him in the flashbacks now. That really that bummed me out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if we're going to find out if that was an interesting demise for him.
Do you wonder who's read the book before?
Hey, look, it's been a while. And plus, I can come into this pretending like I don't remember the rest because I just read the first half. I can do it.
Was there a lot that you forgot?
Yeah, there was. Like Nazca dying, I totally forgot about that.
Now that was
a bit of a shock.
That was a shock.
That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I assumed it was part of a scam. Like, okay.
Yeah, I thought she had
they faked her death. Why?
Faked her death, yeah.
Yeah, she's just like she was gone so fast.
Like they set her up. They set her and Locke's relationship up to be something really special. And then it was really shocking for her to just be gone that quickly.
Yeah, because the Kappa was like, "You're gonna marry her," and he's like, "Oh no."
Well, but also like the first moment they met, he became her first paysan, and like they obviously have a really special relationship.
She was so cool too, says Lauren.
Yeah,
she was cool.
And I feel like we didn't. I'm sure we're gonna see more in flashbacks, but we did like when she's pleading to Locke, go. I forget what she was pleading with him about, but something to do with her father and how he's acting. And I'm like, I don't know her well enough to know if this is an act, if she's playing him, or if they really are close. So I'm sure that'll unfold, but it's a very interesting way to like the order that we're getting things, that we're getting things that in the present and then people die and then learn more about them after the fact through the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so impressed so far with the structure of this book. I think we talked about while you were gone, the kind of layers of the con and like finding out that Locke was the Midnighter and then finding out that Locke had just been like.
Oh, did you tell them like he read that part and he's like, oh, that could be Locke, and then it had the dinner scene and he's like, oh, I guess it's not Locke. Weird, and then it showed that it was Locke. It was fun. It was really fun to have just read it before him and be like, oh, yeah, I thought that too. It's so weird.
Yeah. And Christy told me that, just as an aside, we can marvel at this. This is Scott Lynch's first book, his first novel.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just want to say, like, oh my gosh. Like, Adrian. The planning flow chart.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I always talk about how hard it is to do a really good heist story. Like to have all of those elements like thought out and planned out. Like that's really hard to do. So far I'm thinking that this is pretty cool so far.
But Kelly's on there.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
The book itself is almost like one of their cons with the layers and peeling things away. Being conscious read, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. Like most times when I get conned, I'm not a big fan, but this time I think I'm enjoying it. Okay, Natalie says, okay, but who knows the first he ever wrote? Did he write any before that? Didn't get published?
You're right. This is his first published book. That is an excellent point.
Natalie's saying everything I was thinking. I was gonna say no. I'm like, no, don't talk like a writer, Dan.
No, I love that.
Let it go. Thank you, Natalie.
You're so right. I'm sure he's written other stuff, but this is his first published book, and he chose a great one.
Yeah, but I also think that it's interesting that on the cover, it says like Scott Lynch, author of Republic of Thieves.
Which is book 3.
Because it's a reprinting. That's why.
That's just weird.
It is weird.
It is weird. It is weird, especially when they don't number the books. I mean, we live in an age where we can look it up on our phone at the bookstore and figure out what the order. But if you see that on a book, you're assuming, oh, I guess I should get Republic of Thieves first.
Well,
now, are these self-contained books, Christy, or is it a continuing story that he'll probably never finish?
Continuing story that he'll probably never finish.
Christy, why?
It was a legitimate question. Now, I think he has the first draft of book 4 either done or close, but
I think it's due out in like 2024.
It's due every year.
Maybe.
For like the last 12 years.
10 years
or so.
ago was the last one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's real open about like why he's stuck and stuff. He has like some stuff he's working through, which I think is fair, but
Yeah.
he's trying. Every once in a while he'll give us updates. I don't have a whole lot of hope, but at the same time I can't wait.
I mean, he's a younger guy than George R.R. Martin.
Right.
So,
That's
there's
true.
more hope there.
There's hope. There's hope.
True.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Locke Lamora as a character, I think I really like Locke because he's really good at what he does, and we're kind of like with him, more or less at like the top of his game. Like he's kind of cocky. He's like, he knows what he's doing.
Well, they're
He's,
pulling off these ridiculous,
they're
incredible things.
super rich. They're like robbing from everybody,
Breaking all the rules for everyone.
and so what's fascinating to me is, we've read a book recently where there was a character who was like really overpowered, and they were like at the top of their game, and they were super overpowered. And the problem is, okay, how do we craft a villain for this character? Like this character is all powerful, then like what do you do? And creating Locke as like, we see him just kind of cruising along for a long time here, even in the past and like in the present. Like he's just conning his way through this, and everything seems to be going well. And then just right up towards the end of the first half, like what I think is so cool is that we see him like get his ass kicked basically. And like now he's in like a really, really deep conundrum.
Well, and he's not scared yet, but you can tell he's on the edge of like,
There's
this
some
is about-
panic.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I do want to point out, Jeff said each book has a complete story, and it does. It just kind of follows along with the same people. And stuff.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
That helps.
So it's not as bad as it sounds, and they're so worth reading.
And so you have
Tim.
So now Locke has faced the Falconer. He's kind of going up against the Gray King, who seems to know everything about him. And to me, that's like, how do you craft like the perfect villain for this character? Well, you did it, Scott Lynch. Like this, like, I'm just so impressed. And like, it's really easy to kind of read a story and if, say, they're like Red Rising, for example. I don't know if y'all are with us for Red Rising, but Darrow was his name. The main character of Red Rising seemed to just kind of do everything easily. And like, there wasn't really much of a challenge for him, it seemed like, throughout the book. And I feel like it's really easy to kind of fall into that trap, but like, I'm legitimately wondering, and I'm because Locke is so good at what he does, like, how is he going to get out of this? Like, I want to see his mind turn, and I want to see like how he designs the rest of his journey here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really like excited about that. That's no commentary. I'm just fanboying. Adrian's annoyed me about Red Rising. And so you have basically the Gray King, the villains, the Gray King, who we're not sure their true identity. Nobody knows.
But he recognizes them?
Yeah.
He recognized something about them, yeah. And I don't know, is the Gray King really a villain?
Well, right now he is.
Kind of.
Because he's killing the Locks of the world.
And he did just kill Nazca.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems to want things that are opposite of what Locke wants. And he seems to be complicating our hero's life.
Is Locke a hero?
Well, our
Locke-
protagonist.
There we go.
Hero.
Locke is my
Yeah.
hero.
Okay.
I'm rooting for Locke. That's my
I'm
definition of a
I am
hero.
for
too.
Locke too.
I want to know more about his girlfriend.
Oh, Sabbatha.
Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
interesting. They mention her pretty rarely, but just enough
Mhm.
with enough detail for like you to remember her and like
Mhm.
wonder.
Yeah.
That's so well done.
And yeah, Locke is absolutely an anti-hero. Yeah, but he's my anti-hero.
We love Locke.
Right? Yeah, we do. We love Locke.
We love Locke.
But
Who's
yeah,
singing Taylor Swift now?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's not just me.
But Sabbatha, we get little bits and pieces. Like she's been sent away, and then we have a little bit where Locke is doing the ritual of the toasts and the dedications or the blessings or whatever, and like he's supposed to do something for her, but he kind of like BS's his way through it, and they almost get into a fight about that.
Mhm.
And so you're like, what is going on here? Well, there is a story there. But yeah, that's just another little nugget of like what's gonna happen. The Grey King is Sabbatha. But yeah, so the Grey King, who knows everything about Locke,
Because of the Falcon, right?
the Falcon has been spying on them. Because even early on, we had Bug like see something fly through the
Oh yeah, they've been
treetops.
foreshadowing that.
Yes,
I came up with the word. Y'all saw me lag.
she buffered. And the Grey King, that was a really cool moment to me too. I'm just like fanboying right now. I'm just be like, you remember that? That was cool. Where like, you know, he's like, what? My name is Lucas Fairright. He's like, okay, whatever, Locke. Like, he's like, where's my assistant, whatever his name is? Oh, you mean Gene Tannen? He's fine. Like, oh, somebody outlocked the lock.
Very, very cool about it all.
Yeah.
See, the Grey King is my hero, Adam.
Well then, okay. I guess we're enemies. The Grey King is pretty cool, though.
The Grey King is fascinating, and like I feel like the Grey King is on par with Locke. Like he obviously has something going on that's really, really complicated with a lot of layers. Because like that's why he wants Locke to impersonate him, is so that he can do, because he has business elsewhere at that time.
And I think the Grey King. What was I going to say about the Grey King? Christy, what was I going to say? I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do remember. I think when they establish this world and they establish kind of the political hierarchy, where you have like basically the Kappa who has assumed control over everything and is like feared, and then you have like the Duke or whatever, the King or whatever. But like everybody's afraid of this guy, but then the people that everybody's afraid of are afraid of the Grey King. Like the Grey King is the one person that has like upset this.
Well, the Grey King is openly breaking all the rules.
Yes. And just getting away with it.
One thing I love about this book is that I really feel like there are actual scary stakes. Like we saw, like the Falconer is scary. The Grey King has killed a bunch of people. The Kappa Barsavi has done some scary shit to people.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him do some scary stuff.
And then like with Nazca dying, like I really appreciate that, like there are stakes.
Benny, what do you think about the stakes? Benny, did you like the part where Kappa put a bag of glass over that guy's head?
That was crazy.
Oh gosh, guys, I read that. I was like, oh my gosh, I just made our book club read this. So I'm sorry, because that was.
I was here for it.
It was hard to read. Yeah, I mean, it's also really creative and horrifying, but you can appreciate it.
Anyway, you saying that you didn't like when the Kappa put that bag of glass over that guy's?
Technically, it was the Kappa's
Yeah, it was the torturer.
The torturer put the bag of glass over that guy's head and then just let him die.
He gave him
glass
a nice
in his head?
massage.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
head massage.
He
Nice.
did.
You know, he got the MVP at Sport
Oh,
Clips.
guys,
Yeah.
my mom's reading this book right now, and I read that part, and I was like, "Oh no, she's gonna read this. She is not gonna like it." And I thought about warning her, but I decided not to.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, what are you doing?
Oh, interesting.
Y'all have some theories. There was somebody else predicted that the Gray King is Locke's dad.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of those comments. What you said, the Gray King might be Sabbatha.
Yeah.
So we got some things. The fact that like the Gray King is a little bit familiar is fascinating. Like I'm ready to like find out what that's about.
Yes. A lot of people struggled with the bag of glass scene.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a SNL? Like Dan Aykroyd was like a bad toy salesman, and one of them was Bag of Glass.
It may have been.
Maybe.
I've seen a lot of old SNL.
You've seen like all of them.
Been a while for me.
Yeah.
But what was it? What were we talking about? Bag of Glass.
The Gray King was before that.
Gray King, Kappa Bar Sabi. The backstory of that, where there's like a bunch of Kappas.
Oh yeah.
And now there's one Kappa to rule them all.
But at the same time, that's I think when Chains was established. I love the rumor about how Chains lost his eyes, and I want to know how that got started. That it's just there's so many like really clever things.
Ashley, me too. I forgot about it until everyone was talking about it here. So, yeah. Like, oh, everyone was really disturbed by this thing that I forgot about. And not because I blacked it out.
Honestly, I kind of didn't remember it either until Christy was like, the bag of glass. And I was like, oh, yeah, he kind of beat him with it. And he was like, no.
Yeah, he completely forgot.
No, they put it over their heads and then massaged it into their faces until they died.
I was just fascinated by it because I was like, could you really die from that?
I
I
guess it depends on the glass.
That dude had
Wouldn't
also
be
been
fun.
tortured for a while beforehand also.
And he not only had he been tortured, but he wasn't the first. Like there was like a line of people that have been tortured before.
Shards of glass.
Shards of glass, yeah.
Shards of glass.
Yeah, the SNL thing.
What was the rumor about how Chains lost his eyes?
Thank you, because I don't remember.
It was something like he was so pious that he like burned his own eyes out or something. It was something like that.
It was something like that, yeah.
But that's not like one of those like the Joker. You want to know how I got these scars where it just keeps changing.
But in doing that, Chains became famous in Camor, and like I think is able to get all those tributes or get more tributes than he would have otherwise.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about?
And
yet?
he's super respected in the like legit community, which is fascinating.
Well, they all think he's like the guy, the
Yeah.
priest guy.
Well, he kind of is. He
I
just
guess.
also is other people.
Chains didn't really lose his eyes. He has eyes.
Yeah.
He just pretends to be.
Yeah. Correct.
He takes all of it off
Yeah,
when
that's
he gets
true.
inside.
We're speculating over something that doesn't even really happen.
But he's also not chained. Which
If
is
he had, how would it have happened?
Right?
Yeah. Want to know how I lost my eyes? Benny,
I see him right there, dude.
did you like the part where the Falconer beat up Locke Lamora? And so one thing we haven't talked about is like their setup.
Cooper's daughter.
What?
Amanda. I mean, what they did to the Cooper's daughter was pretty gruesome.
Cooper.
I don't remember.
Cooper's
her.
daughter. I don't remember that. Anybody remember the Cooper's daughter?
That might be
The Kappa's daughter? Are we thinking
Oh,
of the barrel?
yes.
The barrel
Okay.
of horse
Correct.
pits?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that
what
was pretty-
she's talking about.
They had the Falcon like vampired her.
Yeah.
Scorpion
her.
taloned her, and then sorry, Copper's daughter. And then they put her in a barrel of horse urine. Yeah, that's not a good. That's definitely mafia type stuff.
That stood out to me more than the other. Definitely.
Straight Godfather right there.
Mhm.
I did appreciate knowing that she died from the scorpion
Yes.
dolphin's bite and
Yeah.
not the.
I was like,
brownie.
thank goodness for small.
Yeah.
Small blessings.
There's a
Well,
silver
thanks.
lining. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Stacey, she was dead first. It's fine.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
needed to
it's
ship her in
okay.
something.
They just really wanted to insult
just
him.
pickle
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, he said
They
pickle.
did use the word pickle, which did
Yeah.
not appreciate.
No.
But like,
Ugh.
why is there a barrel of horse urine? Why not?
What?
You know? Look at there's elder glass.
Yeah.
Surely there's
It's fantasy.
yeah.
There's always horses in fantasy.
But we didn't talk about their setup, which I think is really cool. Like the underneath the little like
Oh yeah,
their bat cave, basically.
I like their
Yeah.
gold room.
Yeah, they're just room of
The
stuff.
vault.
Their vault.
Yeah, and someone mentioned earlier the fact that they can't spend any of it, and how like funny that is that they still like bother to do all this stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have so much money, and like they don't spend like what do they spend like 1 crown a
Oh yeah, they have like a budget.
month or something like that, and yet they're like super rich. But now they're kind of now that things are going haywire, aren't they having conversations about like now we should spend our money and like use it to hide or to
They are saying that if they have to run, they don't want to have to leave the money, and also the money's going to help them run if they need to.
oh the gentle to animals.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That is kind
Yeah,
of creepy.
I did too.
Well, and what they explained the process of it and everything, and the whole thing was just fascinating.
Like they used to do it to people, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as a punishment for crimes. Yeah.
And they were like, no, this is too inhumane. Let's do it to the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and when we were reading that, I was wondering, like, is this going to come back? The gentle thing.
Yeah, it's
Probably.
probably if he knows what he's doing.
Foreshadowing.
The fact that they have a bullshit box full of trinkets that look like they are still petty thieves.
And you know, the bullshit box has to have like legit stuff in it too. I just love it.
Yeah. It's 'cause you just love it. Are you so glad that everybody else is getting to read this?
I am.
That's good because, like, so for me, I would be so paranoid. Well, I guess I went through it because Neverwhere is like my second favorite book of all time, and I was so nervous the whole time we were doing Neverwhere and the discussions. So, but everyone seems to be liking your favorite book or one of your favorite books. So,
I did get really worried at the beginning. Is like, is this? Well, when I started reading it, is this going to be as good as I remember it being? Because you know, sometimes you read a book at the right time in your life and it resonates so perfectly. And I was worried maybe that's this book because that's happened before when I've reread a book. I was like, oh, well, what was I thinking? But
it's living up to
it's living up to my memory. So that's excellent.
Well, Christy brought this up, and the fact that it is such a fun read that takes place in such a terrible setting. Like if you think about like where Locke came from and like the orphan children
Gosh, and the plague.
and then if you don't go to the thief maker, then you're basically sold into slavery or like sex slavery. And like this is a terrible, these are terrible, but we're having such a good time.
And like that's good compared to the like cauldron area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cauldron is terrible. And like the where they didn't Jean come from the cauldron? Or was it Bug? It was Bug that came from the
John
cauldron.
came from like the nice place.
He was the
he was the merchant
one with the
son.
merchants. Yeah.
Exactly.
so I, after I stopped reading it the first time, I knew I would come back to it. I thought it was kind of the opposite of your thing, Christy. I kind of thought maybe this just isn't the time for me for this book. So I always knew I would come back to it. It took this to make it happen. But as I was reading those first 100 pages, I was like, okay, I've been avoiding this for the last few years because I really thought it was kind of a grimdark type thing. And since 2020, I've just avoided dark and dismal and cynical stuff. So that's why I haven't gotten back to it. And I'm reading, I'm like, this isn't nearly as dark as I thought it was. It should be because of the environment and the setting, but it's not. It's nowhere near. It's fun. It's fun in a dark setting, and I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too, and I don't know if I should feel guilty about it. I don't. But it is. There's so much bad stuff happening here, and to be in this world and to be from the perspective of this like master thief with his merry men, his gentlemen bastards. It's just like, man, you picked fun people to follow in this terrible.
I think it also helps that they all really seem to like love and respect each other. Like they're a family.
Yeah, they got the code, you know. Let's see. Oh, Julie's here. She says, read it last year, so currently reading with 2 million draws you right back to their world. Hey, that's good news for people who want to keep reading.
Cool.
But yeah, it's such a cool juxtaposition within the environment versus the sweet moments they have together. And like, you know, they are, as much as they can be, honorable. That's weird to say. like they, you know,
on the spectrum in Kamor.
Yeah.
They fall.
I mean, Kamor seems to be like it's full of garbage people.
They have a code.
And to see like their world versus the world of the Dons, it's just, and you know, and this ritual that they were at, like all these Dons go to these like highfalutin people go to this ritual.
Are you talking about like the sea thing?
Yeah, the thing at sea.
I don't think that was a ritual. I
don't think that was
no, not a ritual, a revel or something.
A revel.
It's like a party, an event where they go and they float on their little barges and
see all the condemned people.
See all the condemned people fight giant tent octopus or something.
Like gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to see, like, you know, they're clearly painted as like suckers, and you root for Locke because you don't like these Don people, and you're like, gosh, they suck. Even though you like that their con with the Don was way more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was just going to kind of be like in and out. Well, but no, there's like, hi, buddy. He's smiling at me.
We have to take your word for it. We can't.
Yeah, we can't say.
Hi, buddy.
Lucas and Talia are often in the same room.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
Hello. Hello.
You say hi to everybody. You say hi.
Someone is very not tired.
You say Locke Lamora.
Oh, yeah. Those would be good first words.
Are you going to learn the lies of Locke Lamora? Yes. What's this? It's a camera. Look at that face.
That is amazing. That could have been the whole live stream right there.
Right.
Any vision. Everybody says hello. Everybody says hello. Okay. Well, he doesn't want to smile for the webcam. But yeah, that
whole thing was really interesting. And you mentioned like every time they started a chapter, but started a section, they would have a little piece of the rebel and all of the events that were happening, and then they would go back to the story.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such an interesting way to frame it, I guess, frame the story.
Yeah, he would kind of hop out to describe what's happening at this event, and you learn about this giant octopus, squid, whatever.
There was like a squiddy creature, and then there were the scary sharks that jump.
Bag o' glass? That's what Adrian wants.
Barrel of piss?
Yeah.
Can
you say falconer?
Much.
Yeah.
But the introduction
Wolf
of the
shark,
of the Bonds Mage, Wolf Shark. Now that's a movie. That's like Sharknado. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like sci-fi was like, we got a new. It's called Wolf Shark. It's half wolf, half shark. It only comes out of the full moon. But what was I saying?
Something about the falconer.
Oh yeah. So the Bonds Mage was introduced, and all of a sudden we have magic. Like it was kind of.
It was so much more subtle. Like someone mentioned the beef candle and
beef candle,
which I'm assuming was magical.
What's a beef candle?
They used it to like draw off the dogs or whatever in the area, and it like put them out.
I'm pretty sure you can get a beef candle at Ovenbird.
No, it was part of the book. I kind of assumed it was magical, but now I'm not sure. I guess it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
No, it does. It was magical because it like put everybody, it knocked everybody out that smelled it. That's why they had to like run like hell when they lit it. That could still not be magic though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beef
Fine.
candle.
Okay, but they did like mention other magical things kind of subtly.
But yeah, they did. They weaved it in. But then all of a sudden, the Bonds Mage appears and disappears and appears again, and like they're all like jumping around. And all of a sudden, there's magic. Like, and I think that in another person's hands.
Oh, there we go. Christopher Moore, beef scented knockout candle, and Jeff made a great point. Magical
We have
or
alchemy.
alchemical?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
We have magic and alchemy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's science.
Yeah.
But like in other person's hands, like the introduction of magic this far in could have been like a jump the shark moment. It could have been like, oh, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
But like it really helped to, for me, it really helped to raise the stakes.
Oh, we had the shark's tooth. That was like an early-ish magical.
Is that
thing.
magic?
Yeah, because there was a charm on it that like made it cut.
The thing that he wears that.
Oh,
he
Chains
Oh,
said
yeah.
later, he was like, there's no magic to this. It's just, or something.
Well,
it's very small magic.
Yeah, it didn't like bind him to Barsabi. It was
Yeah.
just magic to make it cut whoever it was
Yeah.
like inside.
Right.
The thing that he had.
Yeah, I
to
think
eat
that
to drink.
was.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
that was a little magic.
A
That
small
was a wee
magic.
bit of magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like pretending to be a huge thing of magic.
Yeah.
But like we got magic. So this is Jeff says this is what I really like about the book. This isn't about magic system or the fantastical elements. It's about mundane people doing pretty interesting stuff in a world where magic just exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well said.
And I think I appreciate that as well.
Oh.
That's a good point. And like it's just there. And most of the things in this book just are there, like the Elder Glass and like the fact that they're basically sitting on top of a dormant dead alien civilization.
Mhm. I really
Um,
want to see Elder Glass. It sounds really cool.
Well, I guess we gotta wait for the movie to come out.
Someone did buy the rights
Or
to
the-
the movie, but I don't think it will ever appear.
Or the
Have you
Apple
never
TV
Googled for fan art? That's what I do when I can't picture something in a book. I always just Google.
Yeah. That's helpful.
Let's
Benny
see.
Benny is not a
Elder
fan of
Glass fan art.
Benny, can you say wolf shark? Fuzzy shark. Dogs keep looking around for the baby. He's crying right into the
Oh
microphone.
gosh, I'm sorry, guys.
There he is. I'll translate. He says, I really can't wait to read more of this book. I'm sad that I had to stop at chapter 7.
Oh, put Kira's on.
This one?
Yeah.
Could the Grey King be related to Chains? Preparing for something that was pretty dismissive of everyone else. Ooh, a theory. A theory that I like.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Maybe it is Chains.
Oh, maybe Chains isn't dead.
It's a Ra's al Ghul situation.
That could be.
Everything comes back to Batman. Wouldn't that be crazy? Don't say anything.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. Is it weird if me talking into two microphones? Does that sound weird?
Probably.
So I will say book 2, I think it's book 2, has one of the most gorgeous covers I've ever seen on a fantasy mass market paperback. Like anytime I'm at the bookstore, anything that would make me want to go back and read this again was just so I could get to book 2 because it has such a cool cover.
That's so funny because I bought book 2 and then that's the only reason I read book 1 is because I had book 2 on my shelf. I was like, I want to read this, but I have to read book 1 first.
Right?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it just looks like it's about pirates or something by the cover, but it's so lush and the colors and just it's very fall-like. It looks like something you should read in October.
Ooh,
Yeah.
maybe we should.
Ah,
Or you can all read it on your own. We got to read something spooky.
That's true.
Yeah.
This might have some spookiness in it. This Lies of Locke Lamora has some spookiness in it.
And it also has to be under 500 pages.
So this I'm also interested to hear if anybody in the comments is reading it and it's not for them, because that's bound to happen. No big deal. You don't have to hide. What's that, Benny? Oh, you're one of them? It's not for you? Oh, here comes a big one.
I know. Sorry.
Here comes a big one. Oh, Benny boy. Making book club loud again. There he goes. Bye, Benny. Willa says we have to read Zombies for Talia. And because Talia's not here, she
If
says, World War
Talia
Z.
says no right now,
Right?
Yeah.
we won't do it.
Speak now.
Speak now.
Well, I guess it's zombies.
Yeah.
Yay! Finally, 4 years later. We won't do that to you, Talia. We won't do it. Maybe we will. We'll see. So Benny's screaming.
Wait, Benny.
We are. Did anybody else say that? Did we have anybody say that the book isn't for them? Ashley says it's hot and cold. Parts of like I love, parts very meh. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that there being a spectrum of likes.
I will say the beginning, both times, the first time I started and this time, when they're talking about the con, when it's all the dealing, I'm bored out of my mind. Like, and I love stuff like that if done well, but there's something about those chapters where it feels like, oh, this deal is going on and on and on, and I'm glad I got past that, because that if something in the beginning of the book is my undoing, it's going to be that.
Yes, about the 15%. That was rough.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, when we started, and like I was looking at the bottom of my Kindle, and it was the prologue, and it said like an hour and 15 minutes left in the chapter. I was like, does this count as a prologue? Because it's like this is like a full thing, and the prologue was very long. So I can see that it would take like, well, you got to get over the hump. But Stacey's like, I feel like this book could have been shorter. Julie's baby is confused. I mean, we basically read like a full book's worth of pages in this month.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
And we got a whole half left to go. I had to get used to the swearing and the timelines. It's interesting. But we have 2 minutes left in the hour. How are we feeling? I mean, it's pretty much a given. But
I mean, this might be surprising, but I'm excited to finish the book.
I'm excited to finish it. I'm ready for it.
And Dan, you ready to push through?
I'm still going to be pacing myself, so I'm not going to do the thing. I'm not going to I'm not going to be messaging everyone saying finished tomorrow. But I am very looking forward to continuing.
Natalie says my biggest disappointment was that when I got to the stopping point, I was like, cool, done. Gonna read something else. I couldn't mark it done on Storygraph.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
The completionist.
Oh yeah. To do it over 2 months too is hard.
I'm actually grateful for the opportunity to have more than 1 month to read this, because it took me this whole. I think we were talking about it before we started the live stream. It's like I started before August, and Dan, you did too. It's like,
yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be no problem. I'll make it. And then I was like, oh god, I gotta like by the time it was like 3 days ago, I was like, oh no, I still have like 10% of the book left to read, and 10% is like 300 pages.
I started this past weekend.
I was saying before the wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
And I was saying before we went live that in my head, I'm thinking, oh, wait, now I have to read the whole second half in the next 2 weeks. And I was starting to panic. And I was, oh, wait, I've got a whole month.
Yeah.
And that's a nice feeling.
But yeah, I'm like in this, I'm ready to start reading this second half. Now, will I plow through it? Probably not. Will we get to like, a couple of days before the next book discussion? I'll be like, oh no, probably. But yeah, Brandy ran a marathon with this book.
Yeah. I usually wait till the week before the discussion to read. So.
Yeah, it's because we invited her to the guest host, and she was like, "Oh, sure."
Which was yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was yesterday. So
Yeah.
well done, Brandy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tammy started yesterday morning. But yeah, this is pretty much all I've got going on book wise. So I'm ready to like plow back in to dive back into. What about you, Benny?
I was ready.
Oh, now nothing.
Oh,
There we
don't
go.
prompt him.
Okay.
He's been asking for that bedtime story. He's
Yep.
ready.
He's probably getting hungry. But that does it. We're about at the hour mark. So I guess we'll call it a night. But I do want to say big thanks to Dan and Brandy
Yeah, thank you guys.
thank
Y'all
you for
were
joining.
Thank
Y'all,
you.
Thank you.
Y'all are awesome. And we love having group members on here. So we ever try to do it more often. You know, with Lucas and Talia here, we'll bring some more people in. Like, it's so cool having y'all on here and hear your thoughts about this book.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So tune in. What is the date of our next thing? You never know.
It's on the
Oh my
banner of
30,
Facebook.
20,
It's-
30th, 20.
The 13th, September 13th.
Oh, for that. I thought
We'll
you
have
Locke
on
Lamora.
September 13th. We'll have another book club hangout. So no book discussion. But then you have the 27th.
That sounds right.
We'll get back with you on the 27th of September to discuss the second half and the book as a whole of the Lies of Locke Lamora. So you have between now and the 27th.
I have to
finish the book.
calculate how many pages per day I have to read now.
Hey, September 13th. It's Marianne's birthday, so
All right.
let's all bring some
Yay.
cake to the book club meeting on the 13th.
I meant September, Alex. I was thinking. Yes.
See, now that's your thing. That's your tooth now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, thank you so much for being here. We love having you on, and we'll see you on the 13th for the book club meeting, and then on the 27th for the Lies of Locke Lamora Part 2. And until then, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.